All right, pre-show shenanigans, Grant. First of all, I just want to say I think this is the latest we have ever recorded the night before this is going out.
Oh, I would doubt that. It's
I
up
feel
there.
like
I feel like
it
we've
is.
had a
It
couple
is.
of times.
It's the latest
Well, well, I
it's
know
been
for
in two
fact.
years at least.
Yes, I know for fact. I think it was literally the Jets Bills Monday Night Football where Aaron Rodgers snapped his Achilles. We started recording that like halfway through the fourth. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember. I feel
I
like
we
this is.
could
I feel like this is physically the latest that
if
we have.
you went back around 104 and a little bit more. Let's say you go back 110 episodes. I think like go find the episode called like Aaron Rodgers Achilles. We 100% titled
Achilles
that
might be
episode.
that.
We
They
100%
have to.
focus. If we didn't, that's bad. That's bad on us if we
But either
didn't.
way, I was gonna say I feel like this is the latest we recorded since we first started the podcast. But anyways, more pressing matters. We told you guys, we told the Waterboy faithful, we were going to be keeping track of a new curse, Grant, and we are holding ourselves to that. Sabrina Carpenter was pictured wearing a Giants, or not Giants, sorry, slander to the Giants, Cowboys.
Yeah, no, that is disrespectful to G-Men right now.
A Cowboys, not a jersey, but it's still Cowboys apparel. It's like a Cowboys
yeah, no, it
sweater,
counts.
so we're counting it.
It counts.
I then immediately, when I saw this, I sent it to you and I said, Cowboys guaranteed loss this week. If you check the DMs, I said that.
I don't know this for fact, but if somebody told me that was the worst loss in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, I'd be like, yeah, they lost 47-9.
I said that if you can, if you want, if the editor wants, you can take a screenshot of that DM I sent you. It's on Friday at like 4 p.m. Right.
All right. Hopefully the editor can try to find that.
Yeah, but
no promises.
The Lions completely obliterated the Cowboys.
Yeah. Let me get the official.
The curse is living on. All right, and we now have a side situation.
If surprisingly, not the most points given up this past week. That goes to the Bucks, but the Lions beat the Cowboys 47-9.
Yeah, and the Bucks still won that game, by the way.
And also, it was probably one of the most disrespectful 47-9s ever. So I wasn't watching this game my favorite until thing, the second half.
We will get into it, but I will just say, starting the game with Dan Skipper reporting as eligible.
Ever. It doesn't stop there. I'm not lying when I say the entire first half, every single play Dan Skipper reported as eligible. I was tracking it on my phone, and every time on ESPN, when you just go on the play-by-play, if you look closely at the start, it'll say like who's reported as eligible or not. And I was noticing every single play in the first half, it would say D. Skipper reported as eligible. So Dan Campbell, they were on a mission to troll the Cowboys, and they succeeded.
Not even the Cowboys
quite easily. The whole league.
It's this. I hope it's the same ref crew too, and it's just a real.
I have no idea, but it seemed like it. It appeared like it was the way the Lions were.
It's a much more ref crew. Hey, F you than it is the Cowboys.
So Everett, for reference, I'm actually going to need you to like rewatch some of these game highlights, but not the entire first half. When the Lions finally went up like 20-3, okay, the game's it's still the second quarter, but the game is over. Everybody in the stadium knows. From that point forward, and the Cowboys got into the red zone a lot. Every single time the Lions got in the red zone ever on first and goal, they would run a pop pass to Dan Skipper or Taylor Decker every single first down. Like they were literally trying to feed for a big man touchdown. They were doing whatever it took. They did not end up getting their big man touchdown. So it's a mission failed in Detroit.
They almost got one with
So if you're a Cowboys fan, you better be horrified. If somehow the Cowboys make the playoffs this year and match up with the Lions, there's going to be 30 design plays for Taylor Decker to score and Dan Skipper. There's going to be 30. So you better study.
Make the playoffs after what I've seen so far.
No, they don't.
Give Mike McCarthy the coach of the year.
The Cowboys are so unbelievably done. And
we'll get into it more in the actual episode.
Sabrina Carpenter curse is it is
paying attention. Paying attention.
Can we send her a Mets jersey? Can we send Sabrina a Mets jersey?
Yeah,
can we send her one?
You know what? Yeah. Can we just send her Landon Knack? Is that possible?
Yes.
She just take Landon Knack.
Yeah. She can have Knack all she wants. I know she wouldn't
Just
want
let her
Knack,
have him.
but all yours.
I don't know who wants Knack. Well, let's let her have her.
Yeah,
we might get into that too. But all right.
Yeah. Without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 265. And the Oregon Ducks took down the Ohio State Buckeyes in Eugene. Texas absolutely steamrolled Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout. The Dodgers advanced past the Padres to the NLCS for the first time since 2021. And the Sabrina Carpenter curse is official, legit, set in stone. Not on the Drake level yet, or the Madden curse. The Madden curse this year with McCaffrey having 2 Achilles and seeing the Germany specialist. Yeah, the Madden curse is in a different stratosphere,
on a different level.
Yeah, no, quite literally, it's inhuman. That's look, galactic type of curse.
Why don't we continue? We were talking about in the pre-show about the Lions game and stuff. So why don't we?
We'll start off with the NFL here.
I will just say, to preface everything, the Vikings were on bye week this week. Tulane was on bye week this week. So I was on bye week this week.
Hey,
after taking quite literally the physically longest possible viewing experience that has happened in the history of the NFL.
Hey, I really wanted to watch the NFL last week, so I made you watch the whole day. So yeah, no. You deserve a bye.
I think I was owed a bye week. So
100%. You deserve a bye week here.
And I will say we will reveal it obviously more so next episode. But somehow
also
on a
you
bye
can built
week,
in the excuse like you had a London game last week. A little travel time.
Yeah,
maybe you're still over.
I was traveling too, but I will say on my bye week I did post on possibly historically my best ever week record. It might have tied historically.
Maybe that has us realize that when you go off vibes, things tend to work a bit better.
All that matters.
The NFL is an illogical league this year. There is no logic in the NFL this year. There's nothing. Starting off with a big time date. First off, take it back to Thursday night last week. Isaac Guerrero had a long touchdown. Well, didn't score, but a long run to ice the game where he went down. And apparently, according to Deebo Samuel, I believe, Guerrero was staring at the sidelines during his run. He is gone. He has a free touchdown. He's like crossing the 30. He takes a look at the 49ers sideline and he sees somebody tell him to go down. So he goes down so they can knee out the game, ice it, end it, yada, yada, yada. On the other hand, yesterday on Sunday Night Football, Chase Brown had the exact same opportunity where he had a breakaway touchdown. I'm not sure if he was looking over to the sideline like Guerrero was, but Chase Brown ended up icing the game with his touchdown. He did score. He didn't go down when they could have won the game. This is absolutely nothing to do with me as a fantasy owner of both Chase Brown and Guerrero. But we need to normalize scoring touchdowns to ice games at the end. We need to normalize that.
That's Bush League.
Has absolutely nothing to do with me having them in fantasy. We need to normalize that.
If the Lions taught anything this week, it is rubbing it into your opponent's face.
Hey, you don't get many opportunities to rub it into opponents' faces in the NFL, so take them while you can.
Now, look, I understand, you know what, if it's a good team, if it's a nice team, like, they don't hurt anybody, like...
Give me an example. Because I know what you're talking about, but I can't exactly think of it. I was going to say the Houston Texans, but like if you have a chance to send a message.
Well, the Texans are good. I'm thinking of like a bad, like there's no reason to rub it. Like the Titans. What has the Titans done there?
Fair.
Like the Titans.
Fair.
They're already bad. You don't need to rub it in. Panthers, on the other hand, they're bad, but salt in that wound. Salt in that wound, baby. Let's go right in there. Let's go right in there.
Cleveland.
No, Cleveland deserves it. It's the sole fact they have Deshaun. That everything's off the table.
Very fair.
Giants,
but what if it's
Giants
next week when Nick Chubb comes back for his first game in a while?
You still deserve it. They still deserve it. But Giants have already have as much salt in the wound as possible. They signed Daniel Jones to a massive extension. They don't deserve any more hatred.
Yeah, and Neighbors is banged up, so very fair.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't take much joy in this, but I do. Seeing Neighbors on the sideline for Sunday Night Football, not wearing an ounce of Giants gear. He did not look like he was having a great time. Giants fans, I feel like you guys have known this already. I feel like you guys know your receivers don't really like it there. So this shouldn't be a surprise to you guys. You guys should be aware Neighbors probably isn't content with this situation.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, it came out of the draft. It was very like all the jokes after the draft were like Malik Neighbors, like, why am I here? Like, I hate this already. I think that I'm assuming it's going to be better. I don't think they'll stick with Daniel Jones. It also just so happens that they're about to draft a quarterback out of one of the worst coming out quarterback classes, by the way. I know we'll get into it.
Well,
I know we'll get into college football a little bit.
The T-Law Justin Fields class when we're looking back.
But that's in hindsight. I'm saying current, right?
True.
This is more of a college football take, but I don't even know if it's a hot take at this point, but I'll say it now. Quinn Ewers is not a first round quarterback.
Oh yeah. Now I also think he was still clearly a little banged up.
I don't care. I have even when he's been healthy, I have kind of been thinking.
You're not the biggest fan of Quinny.
He could be good in the NFL. I feel like he's more of a second rounder.
I'm very concerned about his health. He always misses a few games.
Always hurt. Well, we can talk about it more, but like always hurt, and I just feel like he's like hot and really cold. Like there's never been consistency, and when he's bad, he looks like a not even. No,
he was missing a lot.
Fifth round pick.
He was missing a lot.
But I'm saying even when he's been fine, he's been healthy. He's had bad games to the point where I'm like, I don't think this guy is a day 1, day 2 pick. So
yeah, I feel like he can benefit from his competition coming out of the draft this year.
Even then, I don't think he stacks up as a first round quarterback versus the competition we have. Carson Beck really doesn't either. To me,
yeah, no, that Alabama game.
Shedeur does. Dylan Gabriel has earned that right as well, by the way.
My one thing about Dylan Gabriel, I was very obviously we'll get into that in a second with college football. I was very impressed with Dylan Gabriel. I didn't think he was gonna play the way he did against Ohio State. I was most impressed with his deep ball. He was not missing throws deep. Like we'll get into that in a second. Wrap up with a little more NFL things.
But yeah, so this is the one thing I wanted to talk about. The NFC North, Grant. It's in perfect Vikings fashion that the one time we are 5-0 and should have a massive lead in the division, the entire NFC North is like actually good.
Yeah.
4-1, 4-2, 4-2. Point differential, I think the Vikings are plus like 63.
Something like that. The
NFC North is plus 211 overall.
The four teams in the NFC North lead the NFL in point differential.
I will say, though, the Vikings versus opponents, just looking at opponents' record, I don't have the stat pulled up right in front of me right now, and it's too much math for me to do off the backhand. But the Vikings are the only team in the NFC North, though, that have a positive opponent record differential.
Fair, okay.
Meaning that their opponent win-losses are positive rather than, I think the Lions are like 9-11, and then it gets progressively worse with the other teams. With the Bears, I think the Bears have the worst opponent record.
Okay. Yeah, so, Bears.
I will say it is going to be the Vikings. Obviously, play the Lions this week, and we'll talk more about that in the next episode. But that's going to be a massive game. And not having Aiden Hutchinson is.
Okay. We can talk about it a little bit too. All right, you guys know me. I'm a Michigan hater through and through, but that Hutch injury, oh God, I'm not sure if you even saw it, but his leg clean snap. That's obviously awful. He was having a breakout year, easy depoy favorite, I think so far this season. That's gonna sting a lot for Detroit moving forward, losing Hutch. Like I'll say, if I could say something nice about Hutch real quick, you guys won't catch me doing this much moving forward, but Aiden Hutchinson, I always kind of like criticize him in the past because I'm like, he doesn't have a pass rush move. Like I don't see any go-to move out of him to see him as a threat off the edge. But the one thing I will give him is that he's always going 110%. Like I've never seen him take a playoff ever in my life. Like he is he's the definition of 11 guys to the ball. Like he's a defensive coordinator's dream in terms of like how much effort he gives on every play. And that fits, Detroit, how they play very well. It coincides with Dan Campbell, how they like to play. And he's going to be a big missing piece moving forward, especially going into Minnesota. This one's in Minnesota, correct?
I will double check that. I believe so. I think the end of the year is at Detroit.
And you guys are also coming off a bye, which I really like you guys even more. We
are,
with that.
But I also don't know how I feel about a bye, because even though the breaks seem to be falling off a little bit with the last 2 weeks that we were playing, at least offensively, I do feel like part of we'll see if the Vikings can pick up a win this week. All bets are off. But as a Vikings fan, and historically speaking, it's always be like, hey, we had all this momentum bye week, everything shuts off. So
okay,
you never know. Never know. But I mean, this next little stretch of games that we have, Grant. I mean, we've gone over their schedule before.
It's very nice coming up for you.
Play the Lions, but then
Chargers have a pretty nice schedule, short term coming up here.
We have Rams, Colts, Jags, Titans, Bears, Cardinals.
Yeah, the Rams can be a little bit interesting. I think Cup is practicing, or they're trying to practice him this week. If the Rams are a weird team because it depends when they can get all healthy. But when all healthy, oh boy, the Rams are a scary team. I think you're going to catch them at a good time, though. Maybe Cup will be back, but I don't think Puka or the guard play.
It is also like, hey, one, do you have a DC who can match up with Sean McVay, which most DCs can't, but I feel like Brian Flores can. And two, it's that coach matchup. Like, a lot of the time, it depends on the coaching tree, but like the Sean McVay coaching tree is one of those trees where if you have the right guy, like Kevin O'Connell, you will be able to match up kind of.
Have you ever? Is this Kevin O'Connell's first game coaching against McVay since he left?
I don't think so. I'm gonna double check that right now.
Because off vibes, yeah, you have to go revenge. Is it revenge game? I mean, he left to get a head coach job, so I feel like both parties are like, yeah, no, go take head coach of Minnesota, dog. You get what I'm saying? Is that really revenge? I don't really think.
I mean, a little. I don't know if I would.
If anything, it's maybe a bit more McVay revenge to KOC for leaving, but like when your coordinators are good and getting poached, like you can't be mad at them for taking a head coach job.
This is the one problem with having a Viking, a head coach who's a former player, because you type in record and it just comes up with their career starting record. So a quarterback specifically, I should.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get that one.
That's all right. I can't remember you guys matching up with the Rams past. This is what year 3 for KOC, correct?
Yeah, let's see. Last year we did not play them. 2022, which would have been his first year, right?
Yes.
2022 we did not play them. This is
okay. So this is going to be a former assistant matchup. Like Saban and Belichick going against their old assistants. We're going to see a little bit of that. That should be fun.
Well, hopefully it's more like the Saban history than the Belichick history. So
fair.
That'd be ideal.
Yeah, I'd say in other games that I thought was a little bit interesting. First things first, Commanders Ravens. We saw like Zay Flowers, absolutely. Well, you weren't watching, but Zay Flowers had
I was getting notifications. I was getting the notifications.
So Zay Flowers was having a field day all over the Commanders secondary. It was also an interesting game, a classic announcer jinx. It was Ravens' first or second drive. They were talking about how Lamar is not turning the ball over. Quite literally 2 seconds later, throws a pick just right to Sane Ristil. I was like, oh shit, Commanders might be rolling here. They might have a little juice. I think missing Brian Robinson was a big miss for their run game. Eckler can't quite get the job done on his own.
I will say with it though, only losing by a touchdown.
Oh yeah. And they did have a bit of a comeback in the fourth. I know they scored late, but hey, they're scoring late in situations where they're forced to pass. They are putting up points. It's a good sign for the future, Jaden Daniels. They're very scared, the Commanders. They're very scary. If their defense can just play like right now they're pretty awful. They have the potential to be the worst defense in the NFL. But if they could just play like the 20th defense in the NFL,
that's like giving me very much Charger vibes, where they had the best offense, best special teams, worst defense in the league.
Oh, no. Other way around. Number one offense, number one defense. The special teams was that bad. I mean, you genuinely want to disband the franchise afterwards. Like, what? You have the number one offense and defense and you didn't make the playoffs?
But speaking of that, I'm sorry. We have to change the subject, Brant. We have to talk about your team. We have to talk about your leader. Confirmed but not confirmed. Jim Harbaugh shit his pants this weekend.
All right, so I want to start off by saying this. Okay,
I know that's not necessary. That's not what.
Well, after the game, Jim Harbaugh was talking about like a heart thing and
or something.
Yeah. And if true, obviously, coach, I want you to get better, and you are so unbelievably important to this franchise. Worry about yourself first. Like I don't want more Urban Meyer heart attacks on the sideline. I thought I've lived that throughout my life as a fan. I don't need another coach feeling so pressured that he's having potential heart problems. I don't want that. Do not want that. But when it was happening, I was very interested. Did my mic cut out? Can you hear me?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. I was a little interested at first because it was like the second play of the game. All right, we're on offense. We had like just busted off 2 back-to-back, like 12-yard first down plays to start on offense. We like cut to commercial break. Surtain got hurt, had to go out for a little bit. And then when cutting back from commercial break, they just show Harbaugh first start walking to the sidelines. And then he goes into the blue medical tent for about 10 seconds and then right back to the locker room. And he also came back with a new pair of pants on. I did not know that detail at the time, but without that detail,
but I did see that.
Yes, without knowing that detail, because I was not paying attention to his pants, not going to lie, I wasn't. Without knowing that detail, I immediately thought, did he just shit himself? Why else would he be gone for 4 minutes of game time? And then I found out, and this before I knew he had new pants.
Yeah.
Then you told me, wait, did Harbaugh shit his pants? I was like, I think so. And you were like, yeah, he changed his pants. I was like, oh, then it's confirmed. I think my coach might have pulled a little bit of a Lamar Jackson from a couple of years ago.
Could have been both. He could have had the arrhythmia and have it caused him to shit his pants. It is possible.
Well, if that's the case, then definitely go back to the locker room, coach. I don't think the blue tent is going to solve all your problems there if it was both. But hey, let's just say I was very relieved to see him come back quickly. Another thing, I was just thinking, like, I didn't see him like sweating on the sidelines or anything. Like he didn't show signs of like a health problem.
He's about to have a health problem.
Yeah. He wasn't showing any of those signs. He wasn't like frantically locked. He looked like he was just normal Harbaugh walking to the locker room. So I hope it was just he crapped his pants. I hope he doesn't have any heart problems, and I hope he just crapped his pants. That would be ideal. But with that being said, I 100% would not admit that I crapped my pants, and I totally get why he's not saying that.
I will say the Chargers are 3-2. If shitting your pants makes the Chargers win,
hey, if those are the vibes we need, let's do it. Hey, if to prevent the Chargers from charging themselves, our players just need to literally shit themselves, then shit yourselves, boys, and shit a lot and poop a lot, because we need to get all that charging out of our system.
I did just see a report though that Harbaugh is going to wear a heart monitor for the rest of the season.
So it's probably real. Okay.
But you could have had a heart arrhythmia and that caused you to shit your pants. It is possible. It could be
that is 100% a option. We can't cross that one off yet. But Anyway,
I
it was
also
a
did fully think that this game was in LA. I didn't realize it was in.
yeah, me too. I kind of thought kind of thought it was in LA also, but no, went to Mile High. I was also thinking that like elevation altitude. I was
Yeah,
like
maybe you never
that could
know.
be a
It's like
factor.
blood,
I don't.
less oxygen or something. We're
Hey,
getting into some
I got
sciencey stuff.
yeah, no, that's not what this is about. We're the Water Boys. But back to Water Boy stuff. I was very impressed with how the Chargers played in this game. One thing I noticed, Everett, the Chargers, I believe, ran the ball 38 or Dobbins ran the ball 25 times on Sunday. A lot of carries, a lot of work for JK.
Yeah.
Um,
25 for 96.
I believe over 70% of his production came on runs directed to the left side of the O line. And I think he had a total of like 20 yards on 8 carries on runs to the right. That's quite literally the Rashawn Slater stat right there for everyone. Slater goes out for like one drive.
Well, Alt
and
is out still, correct?
no, he was playing. Alt was playing,
back.
but we, regardless, weren't having much impact running behind Alt to the right side. Also, we had some O-line swappings going on.
Also, I got you. Also.
Sure, not intended, guys, clearly. But we had some O-line movement. Pipkins came out. Sawyer came back in to play guard a little bit, but it's messy on the right side of the O-line. Ugh, yuck. It's disgusting. Like they need chip help every single play.
Well,
they need a tight end.
Your guard needs the help.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, everyone. Center. Well, thank God the center's double teaming most of the time. But right guard cannot be left alone. And Alt in pass pros looking overall pretty good. I mean, he got TJ Watted the other week. What are you going to do? It's TJ Watt.
He was doing pretty well against TJ Watt minus a couple plays.
Yeah, I mean, where everyone's going to remember the 2 sacks he gave up, but hey, for 90% of the plays, he was holding up, which it's okay. It's his first year. But I'm most impressed with Justin Herbert in this game. Lad needs to learn how to go down. He needs to take a lesson out of the Tyler Lockett playbook. All right, Lad. It's that meme of the one guy in Pop Warner where his whole jersey is like half ripped off, and it's like yeah, like the like dog or whatever. And Lad, after maybe the first 2 drives, had probably already gotten 3 concussions. I was like, all right, this is not okay. If anything, toss the Guardian cap on him. I need Lad to be safe long term. Like this offense needs him. But Lad went out early. QJ also got banged up with some more concussion protocol stuff a little bit early. But Everett, Herbert was unbelievable. This was the best Herbert game I had seen all season. It was the most the Chargers passed all season. Chargers actually led all NFL teams in EPA per pass drop back this past week. And Herbert only threw for 237 yards on 34 attempts. That's because his leading receivers, Everett, were Semi Fehoko, rookie Kamani Vidal, okay, a running back in his first NFL game, 3rd leading receiver on the team. Josh Palmer actually looked competent. Will Dissly was tied with Lad with the most receptions for the Chargers. And oh yeah, Stone Smart and Darius Davis were getting extended looks.
No Brendan Rice.
It was quite literally the poverty lineup. If you thought the Chiefs were wide receiver by committee, we're not even
Sanders, Semi Fehoko is like Packer legend over there. Aaron Rodgers loves that guy.
I will continue slandering Semi until the end of time. The Chargers are legitimately running scrubs out there. Like the other week, my brother was thinking, like, do you actually think like there's college receivers that could be wide receiver ones like today? I'm like, yeah, bro. There's 18 that would be over all the Chargers wide receivers today. I can count at least 18 college receivers now who would start over every Chargers receiver currently. Yeah, if there's a position where you could come in year 1 and produce, look at Malik Neighbors, look at Puka, look at Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. It is receiver. You can produce year 1 at the receiver position. Let me ask
you this. If, let's say, Luther Burden or Tedera McMillan are available, and Ashton Genty are available, who are you taking?
Because I know how the Chargers play, I'd rather have Genty, but like if the Chargers
Keep in mind who will
passed,
be available 2026, 2027.
if the Chargers were to pass on a skill, like, well, this thing, I don't know I have no idea where the Chargers are going to pick. Let's say they pick around 12. Is that fair?
You're 3-2 right now, 15.
Okay, 15. Around that side. That, I think Genty's going to be gone by 15. I'm seeing people online thinking, no, running backs won't go that early. Like, we just saw Bijan and Gibbs. It's not crazy for a running back to go top 15.
It was just going to be Bijan, and Jahmyr Gibbs came out of nowhere at pick 12.
It's not crazy for that to happen. So if at 15, Genty and Tet and Luther are available, I'd rather have Genty. But it's if we pass on all skill players for like, I don't know, a corner. I don't know.
Hey, you guys got Eli Apple now. It's all right. You guys are saved. You're saved.
And hey, if there's anybody who knows about Eli, well, actually, I don't think Harbaugh wasn't at Michigan when Eli Apple was at Ohio State, so never mind. I was about to say Harbaugh would know better than anybody Eli Apple. If there's one thing I'll give Harbaugh,
sure he wasn't at Michigan then?
If 2015 was his first year, I think Eli Apple was gone after.
No,
I could check it. I don't know.
Eli Apple was like 2017. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Drafted to the Giants in 2016.
Okay, so one season. Even better.
Yeah, anyway. I was gonna say I feel like he came into the league much later than
anyway. Harbaugh has studied tape on Eli Apple. Like the Ohio State, there's a good amount on the Chargers. Like he knows them quite well. Dobbins, Bosa, like he knows how they play quite well. So like if anything in my eyes, like if I see Harbaugh signing former Buckeyes, I feel like that's a signing that he feels very confident in. Also, with that being said, a lot of banged up players in Chargers secondary. Asante Samuel Jr. just hit IR. I'm not sure how long his injury is, but the way Harbaugh answered his question about him, it seemed like we're done here, Asante. That's what it seemed like. Harbaugh was like, yeah, I'm not qualified to speak about injuries. But yeah, no, Harbaugh avoided the question beautifully. You could teach a class on dodging that question on Asante Samuel's involvement rest of the year. Yeah, no answer on that. But yeah, that was way too much Chargers update. You guys don't need to hear that.
I mean, this was your week to shine, Grant.
Fair,
okay.
Fair.
You beat the Broncos. You deserve to take all the spotlight.
Okay, fair. I'll take my flowers on that. And you know what? Just looking around, rest of NFL, anything kind of crazy. Yeah, Bucks absolute splattering without Rashad White. I think we're going to see the Bucky Irving take over 100%. And also their third string, Sean Tucker.
That was not Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving actually played very well too. One thing I was looking at this year, I believe Bucky Irving's like top like 10 in the NFL in missed tackles per run. You're going to like this. I think Aaron Jones is second in the NFL in missed tackles per run. But Bucky Irving's a good back.
I would not be surprised if we saw one of those three, most likely Rashad White, get shipped out.
Hey, and there are teams who could use running back help right now. So
I also Tyrone Tracy for the Giants. I'm expecting this is more fantasy relevance, but he's looking fantastic. He's going to take over that position. Chase Brown, I think. You're starting to watch the reps on that. He's taking over that.
Zach Moss just isn't very dynamic.
Great. Like, other than that, I'm just trying to think of other general running back kind of committees.
ETN might be dead. I know Bigsby didn't have a big day, but I think ETN had like 3 touches for
they were doing running
yards.
Back by committee. That game was not good.
And they were also down a lot. Game script took the run game out of it.
If you were concerned at all about Jonathan Taylor losing his job like last year, Zach Moss, I think you're reassured now. Trey Sermon sucks.
So
very bad. Hey, Damian Pierce, pretty fucking good game with Joe Mixon too.
And also
But
Mixon, I think moving forward for the Houston Texans success, it's gonna sound weird, but I think like Nico Collins is obviously the most important. Like without Nico Collins, it's gonna make things way harder. He's the most important piece of their offense, other than CJ. But
yeah,
Joe Mixon, the impact he has on the run game and how that helps CJ in the pass game, it's
crazy,
ridiculous. They need
crazy.
Mixon down this
Um,
stretch.
the one thing that I will also add, unrelated to them specifically, but with the 49ers, Gary Endo probably Jordan Mason legitimately might have
Oh,
just
okay.
lost
Actually,
PT. He might
well,
have legitimately just lost PT because of that
this is what also I was thinking. So obviously McCaffrey's banged up, Jordan Mason now banged up, and people also forget Elijah Mitchell is technically the second string running back for the Niners. He's
He's
still
on
on
IR.
IR. So
Yeah.
people forget him too. But right now, Isaac Guerrero is technically RB4. But Everett, tell me if you're thinking what I'm thinking, but I think we may see a little bit, not, it won't be fully because Guerrero can take 12 touches a game, but we might see a little bit of that 2021 Debo again. Debo was running inside zone in this past game. And if I were Debo, I do not want to run inside zone. Hell no. I'm not trying to get slaughtered. What? Are you crazy? You want me to run inside zone? But because he has his money, he did get paid. I don't know what the guarantees are. But Shanahan might be like, Debo, we're going to need to run inside zone.
I mean, maybe my expectation is more so they're gonna lean
It's
on
either
the
that or trade,
explosive.
or they get Rashad White.
I think that I mean maybe they do a little bit more inside zone, but I
I
more
think
so am
Guerendo's
thinking,
technically the only running back
well,
active.
Jordan Mason's gonna be fine. He's gonna be back. But when he is back, I could see more Gary Endo playing and him getting that PT
A
and
little bit,
him
yeah.
them using him more for the explosive plays to complement Jordan Mason's just violent, I'm going to bite you style of running.
Yeah, I like Mason a lot. Like, I think he's a very good back. And like the Niners, hey, whoever runs the ball for San Fran is going to do a good job.
They're gonna do
So
well. They're gonna do well. Yeah, unless that person is God, I don't even remember what his name is.
give me
Um,
some type of context for the guy. Give me something to work with here. Let me help you out. Come on, give me something.
I think he's on the Dolphins now.
Mostert.
No, Moster was good. Moster was good on the 49ers.
Oh, Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeff Wilson had a couple good games, but
not what you hope.
no, him and Jarek. I'm so sorry, but
It's on me.
okay,
Put a
Grant.
finger up. Yeah.
Let's
Also
move
with
on.
the round 5 curse with me, Laporta had his flea flicker touchdown, but like I think I curse Laporta
As one of, if not the top tight end off the board this season for fantasy. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter if he ends up being tight end 7. If he's outside the top 8
Well,
in tight ends,
this is an easier. If he finishes outside the top 3, I cursed him. This is a really easy tight end year. If he's not at least tight end 3 at the end of the season,
Cole
that's on
Kmet,
me,
I think, is
Detroit
tight end 1
fans.
right now. Cole Kmet's tight end 1.
I think
Get
it's
another
either
25-point
him
game.
or I know Tucker Kraft is like top 5
Well,
off of
Tucker
the
Kraft
past 2
got
weeks.
3.4
Just had an
points this
absolute
week.
stinker.
Just stinker.
But despite that, that's how bad tight end is. He's still in the top 5, despite having like 4 stinkers. But okay, on to
college
the next
football.
uh
Let's get into college football.
college football and wrap up Dodgers.
We'll wrap it with Dodgers. We'll do it quickly because we also need to not
okay.
cement
College football quick
here. Let's Grant. I mean, realistically, let's just start with the game that matters most to you, and obviously, I want to talk a little bit about it. But Ohio State and Oregon. All right, so I only caught the very end of this game. I didn't get to watch much of it. But first
Probably
of all,
an entertaining ending.
It was a great ending. First of all, I will say I'm kind of surprised Penn State jumped Ohio State in the rankings. That was some bullshit.
I was a little bit surprised, but
they should have lost that game. They should have lost.
Oh yeah,
we'll get into that. But I will say, Oregon played extremely well. And I asked you last episode, I said, what are you going to do if Oregon beats you this week? And your consensus response was, I'm going to be pissed. But one, it's not as bad as losing to Michigan. And two, if it comes into the next game and we have to play them to win the championship, I would have much rather have lost to them than beat them the first time. And to be fair, this game, 1 point game, it could have, I mean, you guys could have lost by more. You also could have won by more. There's, 50-50 split here. But we have to talk about the last play of the game. That was some Kellen Moore, Dak Prescott.
I go a little bit back and just
bullshittery.
Do the whole last drive a little bit first.
Yeah, we can do that.
So just like a slight little zoom out before I get into the last 6 seconds on the clock.
Hold on. I just want to know what was going through your head during the last drive. That's what I wanted.
I was having Georgia flashbacks. All right. I was just like, oh my God, we're right back. I was having Georgia flashbacks, Notre Dame flashbacks from last year. I was like, dude, I can't be doing these last second drives. I can't do this anymore. This is not good for my health.
Yourself for that.
But very first play to start the drive, Mateo gets in the backfield, sacks Will Howard. I'm like, oh, right. Here we go. Carnell Tate gets a BS, little 13 yards, then hit a Mecca to pick up the first. Then after we got that first down, I remember I was watching my brother. I sat there and go, good. Now we can breathe. I was joking, but right when I was, quote, saying we could breathe, then boom, immediately Jeremiah 9 yards. And then just a classic, like I've seen this too many times, like it's happened with Georgia, just has a 30-yard play casually on the 50-yard line to get into field goal range with a lot of time left on the clock. Very similar to Georgia. Okay. And I will say this, first things first. I remember when we were there in that moment, the second we got into field goal range, the first thing I said is, Ryan, you learned your lesson against Georgia. Go pick up more yards. Do not settle for a 49-yard field goal. Our kicker, I believe our kicker's career long field goal is 46. So go get more yards and help your kicker out. Don't make your kicker hit a 50-yarder to win on the road. Don't do that. Go get more yards. And very first play afterwards, Jeremiah has the little pass interference, the little push off. And I'll say this, the Oregon corner, when you're within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, you're allowed to hand fight. And the Oregon corner engaged with Jeremiah at around that 5-4 yard line first. However, just in that moment and on the road in Eugene, I know that shouldn't have to factor into it, but it's going to with refs. They're people. Jeremiah, both hands, full extension. The Oregon DB goes flying. They're gonna call that, like, with both hands out extending, and he did sun the Oregon DB 4 yards off of him.
Yeah, not his fault that he's just bigger.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, as the fun part of Ohio State fan, it's not Jeremiah's fault. He just bitched the Oregon DB. All right, it's not his fault. But also at the same time, it kind of is your fault. You could have just kind of boxed out there. You didn't need to push off. You are bigger than him. You do have a foot on him in height. You could have just boxed him out, not push off, and still picked up 8 yards anyway. But I don't want Jeremiah to be coached any differently. That was within 5 yards. He engaged with you. Keep pushing off all you want, Jeremiah. You won't hear any shit out of me. But right after that happened, okay, Ohio State gets pushed back to the 43-yard line. At that
15-yard penalty on that is crazy.
Yeah, I was. Part of me was like, what? 15's a lot. You just killed the drive. Holding's only 10. How is that 15?
Like, that's one of those things where it's like, dude, just let them play the game. Even then, you're asking a college kicker to make a 40-yard field. So, dude,
and with Ohio State kickers, I've learned my lesson. There's no such thing as a guaranteed kick with Ohio State kickers. Literally no such thing. But am I mad that we tried to pass there to get in the field? No, I'm happy we did that. We learned our lesson from Georgia. I'm seeing progress from the coaching staff. We did coach it differently than we did with Georgia. However, with 10 seconds left, Everett, and this is something that I don't know if it's true Dan Lanning did this or not. But after, when Ohio State gets the ball in the 43, Oregon takes a timeout. And coming out of the timeout, Everett, Oregon had 12 men on the field. Now, Ohio State fans are complaining, saying like that should be a dead ball foul. There should still be 10 seconds on the clock. We should get 5 yards. We shouldn't have any timer off the clock. I don't even know if that's the rule or not, but Ohio State ran a play with 12 guys on the field. 4 seconds came off, and I don't even actually remember what happened with that, but something happened. The play was only 4 seconds long.
Well, what happened was they let the clock run, and then there was a timeout. I don't know what the fuck was going on, because there was one point where they just let the clock run, thinking that it wasn't running and they had more time. I think that's when they ran up to do that play. They thought, because I don't really know. There was some play on that drive that ended up with that happening.
I mean,
once that happened,
drive, I was sitting there, I was like,
but once that happened, the reason why it is kind of bullshit. But first of all, I'm pretty sure Dan Lanning did actually do that. I think that was legitimate.
If Dan Lanning,
great coaching.
If Dan Lanning did that and he purposely had a 12 man on the field, knowing that he would burn 4 seconds, coach of the year, coach of the millennium. That's how knowing. Clock manage at the end of the game.
That is knowing the rule book, and also what coaches do before the game. For people who aren't aware, they run through certain plays with the refs to be like, hey, how are you going to call this? If I do it this way, how are you going to call it? And including in that, I'm assuming is, hey, if we put a 12th guy on the field, what happens?
Hey, if Dan Lanning did all those things on purpose, we need to get that guy already in the culture.
The reason why, at least in my mind, the reason why that's not a dead ball foul is because you snap the ball, the refs aren't blowing the whistle, right? If you go through the play, you play with the 12th man on the field either way, then they're going to be like, hey, you got 15 yards.
I'm not complaining, saying
I'm just saying that's why it was probably like that rather than a dead ball foul.
Yeah,
right?
But
it's not like an offsides or encroachment that just might stop the play.
Anyway, that was genius out of Dan Lanning. That was absolutely genius. You have to tip the cap there. Like, oh shit. Dan Lanning was in his bag. But after that, we got 6 seconds left. We're quite out of field goal range. But like you either have to call a touchdown play, you either run the touchdown play, or it's like a quick 8-yard out that takes 3 seconds to run. Like you have 6 seconds on the clock and you have a timeout. So hey, you can even hit something over the middle. Just has to be quick, but Will Howard sitting back there, the second the ball snapped, he has the ball. It's got to be boom, boom, half second, and you either quickly run outside the tackle box or throw it out of bounds, or get the ball in your hand. You can't sit there and lollygag with 6 seconds.
So here's the thing. First of all, I understand you're trying to make a play, but if you're even thinking of pump faking,
no. That's be out of your not hands. Even
that's stupid.
A possibility at the time. It's got to be boom, boom, go.
And if you are then going to run, which by the way, he had the space to run when he pump faked it,
then you gotta immediately go.
You need to go, but also I know you're trying to get to the 30. You know, Ryan Day was probably like, "Hey, Will, 30-yard line. It's better to get to the 35 and be cautious because they don't blow the." Ball's not dead the moment you start sliding. You have to wait a second, right? Better have 3 seconds on the clock than 1 and have to call that timeout, right? So put yourself in a situation to at least make the play, not to win the game.
And I'll also say, just as a man who watches too much, I'm almost in a way happy I didn't even see the kick, because if they set up, got the kick, and then missed it, that would hurt so much worse. That would hurt so much more right now. But
by the way, the only thing that I could see, though, when he put his hands on his helmet was just Justin Fields' same thing.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, God, I've quite literally seen this picture every year for the past 7 years. Every single year, I've seen this exact same image. Will Howard, he had his Ohio State quarterback
it's
surrender
also
Cobra picture. He had his.
It's just also one of those things where it's like, dude, you're a senior. Like you need to be aware of. Oh, he's a fifth. Even
That's
more to
what
my
even
point.
hurts worse.
That
The
you need to be aware of.
We brought him in
that situation
for the experience, like 2 managed games at the end, and he failed.
Like,
that's what hurts.
At least, like unlike Honda McCord, he didn't throw a pick or something on the drive. He got you guys closer, but he still was not cognizant of the clock. And that's
okay. That's another thing. Like Ohio State fans are now just in a mental pretzel. Like, I want my Honda back. There's a reason he was called Honda McCord. All right, guys. Like, hey, I'm not saying Will Howard is that much better, or even they may be the exact same in terms of impact on the Ohio State offense. To be completely honest, they might be. Yeah. I don't even know or care really. But hey, what you were saying started this. How before last week I was like, it's weird because I'm really not that stressed about this game. Because odds are we'll match up with them in the Big Ten championship game. This is one thing though that I'll say as an Ohio State fan this year, with it being the team, the year for us. So many people coming back. We're able to get Caleb Downs, able to get Quinshon Judkins, so many massive players, $20 million roster, Everett, with all those things. Yeah, this one hurts a lot. This one's very disappointing. I'm going to say this, Everett. This is a fun fact. Everett, in Ohio State's last 5 losses, these are their last 5 losses. Oregon, last Saturday. Missouri, bowl game, end of last season. Michigan, last year. Georgia, missed field goal at the end. And then Michigan 2022. In those last 5 games, Everett, I want you to guess how many punts the Ohio State Jim Knowles-led defense has forced in the fourth quarter against those 5 teams. How many punts has Ohio State's defense forced in the last 5 fourth quarters that we have lost? Guess how many?
God. This is a real test of my skills to be close on numbers, because I'm always close somehow, and this is like the most.
If you don't get this one right, I will not blame you at all based on all the information that I've given you about Jim Knowles in the past. So just how many punts do you think Jim Knowles has forced opposing offenses?
We're talking over 4 games?
Last 5 fourth quarters. So 5 quarters.
I just needed the game.
Michigan 2022, Georgia 2022, Michigan 23, Missouri 24. And 24 punts?
24 punts. Over 5 games.
Wow, you think Jim Knowles is good? Jim Knowles' defense has forced a total of 0 punts in the fourth quarter.
I was just thinking you were doing that in like a positive manner. Like, I know Knowles is not supposed to be great, but I thought you were like turning the leaf on him or something. I thought it was going to be a positive.
Yeah, there's no such thing as him Knowles anymore. Jim Knowles, we brought into Columbus to fix the defensive problems that were left behind by Kerry Coombs. He was brought in to fix this defense, to change it. And the big piece about Jim Knowles coming in, when I first remember him getting hired, was Jim Knowles likes to play offense on defense. He's very aggressive, loves to blitz, loves to disguise coverages. And that's what I had been wanting for so much after Urban Meyer. I'm thinking back to 2019, 2020 Clemson going up against Venables and his defense, and how much post-snap movement there is in the secondary, up front, the twists and turns, different blitz looks you get. I wanted to have a DC who was aggressive, like a Brian Flores, Everett. I wanted to have a DC who was, wanted to play on his terms, willing to get aggressive, willing to go, quote, dial something up when he needed to. Jim Knowles has failed to do that. Jim Knowles has failed to force opposing offenses to punt in the fourth quarter in his last 5 fourth quarters, all in top 5 matchups. He's failed to force them to punt. You're trying to
say that a change is needed.
Yeah, Everett, I am saying that. We brought in Jim Knowles. We're paying him $2 million a year to coach the defense. We know he can't recruit. We know he's not a good recruiter, Everett. Ohio State fans know that. We know he can't recruit. So he was brought in to literally coach. And every time he's gone in a big moment, he has failed to do so. Uh, I'm gonna rip my hair out if I see this one more time. But it was a critical third down against Oregon. I believe it was their drive where they scored a touchdown, a 3rd and 8. Okay, and Ohio State had 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. They were showing blitz. They were showing that they were going to send 6. The 2 linebackers who walked up to the line, they did end up coming. They did blitz. But all 4 defensive linemen dropped into coverage. All 4 defensive linemen dropped into coverage. So let me start with this. If that was designed, then genuinely get the hell out of my school. Never show your face in Columbus again. If you, on a 3rd and 8 in a game where we were not getting pressure on Dillon Gabriel to save our lives, you drop all 4 D linemen into coverage on a 3rd and 8. And keep in mind, when I mean drop into coverage, I'm not saying they're dropping 8 yards back. No. Like 1 yard off the line of scrimmage, essentially running a spy on Dillon Gabriel. They weren't doing anything, quite literally nothing. And so because of that, I want to give them a pass, saying missed assignments. Some guys did not rush who were supposed to. But also, if that's the case, it's 3rd and 8 in the most critical game of the year with a team full of seniors, veteran guys who, I don't know, their 4th year starting for Ohio State should probably know a couple of defensive calls. But if it was a misassignment like I expect, that's also unacceptable. You cannot have blown assignment, especially with your D lineman. You know how hard it is to mess up a D lineman dropping into coverage versus rushing? That's pretty hard to do.
Pretty hard.
Because most defensive calls, the D linemen are doing the same thing most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time you are just going straight.
You're just playing your gap. It's what you're doing most of the time. But yeah, no, Jim Knowles doesn't do anything.
I do want to talk about
one other game. One quick little thing.
Go ahead.
Larry Johnson, longtime defensive line coach at Ohio State. He was tasked with developing the Bosa brothers, Chase Young. Beforehand, he was at Penn State. He's responsible for Tamba Hall Lee, pretty good edge rusher in the NFL, if you remember him.
Pretty good NFL player.
Larry Johnson has a proven track record of taking top-end recruits out of high school, bringing them into his D-line room, and then sending them off to the NFL to make millions and millions of dollars. Larry Johnson has not produced as Ohio State's D-line coach in years. Beginning in 2018-19, when Ryan Day took over, I was already seeing signs, watch out Larry Johnson long-term. I've been hearing for the past 8 years, the amount of negative recruiting done on the D-line side of the ball for Ohio State. And I'm talking about specifically in battles with Alabama and Georgia. Ironically, Saban for the past 6 years has been clamoring about how Larry's going to retire. He's not going to be there your whole college career. And then Nick Saban retired first, of course. But I've been hearing negative recruiting about Larry wanting to retire. He's like late 60s, Everett. He's very old. He's been doing this for a while.
Hey, coaches stay for a while, though.
I know, but Larry Johnson, when he landed Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimola, who are the number 1 and 3 players in the class, respectively, when they committed to Ohio State, Larry Johnson made them a promise. And he said, I can promise you too that I'll be the D-line coach at Ohio State as long as you are Buckeyes. No promise after that. He has said that. So if that's the case, if Larry Johnson will stand by that, and he was telling the truth, and he did tell Sawyer, JTT, once you guys are gone, I'm gone. If that is true, then I think it is time to hang it up, Larry. I think this is the season where let bygones be. He's been D-line coach at Ohio State for a decade. If this is the year, this is the year. Let's end this relationship amicably. I still love you, LJ. You're my guy. You got the Boses and Chase Young. Don't get me wrong, but Jack Sawyer and JTT, they're seniors. Apparently I've heard they're first round draft picks. They don't look like first round draft picks to me, Everett. When I watch them play,
somebody will still take them though.
They don't look like the Boses and the Chase Youngs. Even a Sam Hubbard, they don't even look like that.
Well, I
So,
also didn't think Chop Robinson was going to be a first round pick, and he was. So,
hey, based off the name alone, immediate first round
fair,
pick.
very fair, very
Yeah,
fair.
but I'm concerned.
All right.
Concerned.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about USC Penn State, but I don't want to spend that much time on it.
Very
Really, the
bad
only thing
loss
to
by
have to
Lincoln.
say, bad loss, and they also did get screwed though. There was multiple missed calls in favor of Penn State. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a video of we were talking about Lemon literally the other day.
Makai Lemon, yeah.
Makai Lemon, and there's a video of I don't know which Penn State corner, but literally Makai Lemon went out of his break. I guess he was maybe running a sluggo or something, and just full on jersey pull, like not just didn't call it. And like there's so many things that should have been called that shouldn't have been called. In the end, though, you can only blame yourself. And unless it's K-State versus Tulane, in which case you should have won the game. The only reason you didn't was because the refs called
that and like decision. the flag from last year for the Vikings, where like the ref took out your player.
Ref took out our player. Yeah, I think we still won that game, but
that was one of my favorite moments in the history of this podcast.
My reaction to that, I think that was the game against
yes, I know it was.
That might have been 2 years ago.
No, yeah, that's an all-time moment. But yeah, no, USC. Okay. You're going to a new conference. It's going to be an adjustment, learning how they ref. Like, hey, I will say also, though, I don't think Lincoln's ever coached in the Big Ten, so it's USC a big
has gotten a lot of their long distance travel games out of the way this year.
Yeah.
So next year, I mean, if you can recruit well, it doesn't look like Lincoln Riley's going to be able to. But if you can recruit in the portal well and recruit well, they might do something next year.
The thing about USC recruit, it's weird. Like, ironically, they had a good recruiting weekend. Like, they actually picked up a couple. I believe they're second right now in 2026. I will be honest. We got a long ways to go, folks. Alabama hasn't even begun offering players in 2026 yet. So,
but I will say though, I think as a general matter, it's kind of the same thing with that Minnesota is doing right now. If you can hang with better programs, objectively better programs, or then
it'll help. Hey, some people weren't even thinking USC would like be looking like that. Hey, before the season, if you were to tell me USC is going to lose by 1 to Penn State and Michigan, and everyone's going to act like the roof's falling, I'd have been like, wow, people must think USC is going to be good, I guess.
I will say, and I think we'll need our sources to confirm this information, but I feel like if I was Miller Moss at this point in time, I would be leaning way more towards staying for another year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And also, like, next season, probably looking better. I don't know how many guys
I would say
they're going to lose their center. I have no idea.
Yeah, but what grade that's the problem is making the point in the transfer portal, because I also feel like if you're a quarterback, right, and you are supposed to be good, you are the one who's recruiting these players to be there. Like, I know there's a lot of guys who be like, we'll come to Tulane to play with Michael Pratt or play with Tajay, right? Like, we'll have that.
100%.
So I think for Miller Moss next year, his thing will be, look, we were this good, we can be better. This is my Heisman. This is my Lincoln Riley Heisman.
And I'll say, like, if there's one thing about USC, I'd say the concern offense is it's that tackle position. They have 2 scholarship players who are tackles. They have 2.
Not great.
I've never heard of a lack of depth like that ever for a blue blood like USC. Like, that should quite literally never happen.
No,
ever.
Yeah.
So because they only have 2 on the roster, like, they're gonna have to portal in. They have to port. You can't have true freshmen. You can't have 4 freshmen tackle next year.
They're gonna throw at the wall. And also, I'm sure that you've seen this. I'm sure everybody's seen this. But Lincoln Riley's record to this point in time compared to his predecessor, not great.
We're in Clay Helton territory, Everett.
Not great.
He already has, I think, like twice the amount of losses at USC than he did at Oklahoma. It's only year 3.
Which is kind of surprising to me. You would think he would be able to recruit better and do better.
The only thing I'd say is when I think of Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma, people kind of forget about it, but they had really good linemen. Like, there are so many NFL linemen from Oklahoma. Like they have a lot of dogs. And
I
so
do kind of feel though, recruiting wise, being in California, like
at the
compared to
O-line
Oklahoma,
position, I think it's easier out of Oklahoma because you can get those big boys in Texas and the Midwest.
I was thinking
in the
region
South.
wise is probably a little bit better, a
Of
little bit easier to
course,
recruit.
Lincoln's having a much more fun time. Well, I mean, even at Oklahoma, it didn't matter. He could take quarterbacks from all over. But skill wise, any wide receiver in high school in Southern California should and better be dreaming of playing for USC. If they aren't, that's a big USC problem.
Yeah, just oh no, never. I was gonna, what's that show? All American. I was about to say All American, but that was UCLA, I think.
I'm not
I have not seen that in so long, but
yeah, but yeah, USC, they're good. We're gonna need to fix together a couple things.
I don't remember what the dude's last name is, but let's Spence run some routes out there. All right, we can get some more wide receivers.
You know, like
last college football thing that I wanted to bring up, and well, I'm sure we won't spend too much time on it, but Cam Rising might have an eighth season, Grant. Cam Rising might have an season. So boot up that Roth IRA, buddy. Get ready to learn Chinese.
He made the start over the week. I think they play on Friday.
Yeah, he got hurt though.
And also, my boy was perked up for that one. He was clearly not 100%. He was so not 100% to play in that game. I think we should call it a wraps. Cam?
I would hope so, but also he's not getting drafted. He's not playing in the NFL. So if you're Cam Rising, if you could get another milli for an NIL deal, fuck it, my brain can
do what Drew Timme should have done. I still don't know why Drew Timme
should have stayed. He should have stayed.
Don't know why he didn't play his last year. He's not in the NBA. I think he's like working investment banking in Dallas. so funny.
Many opportunities for old man Timme, like for
Timme, like just
opportunities.
Like he, I guess, Head and Shoulders. It's more hair, but he could have been like the Just for Men poster child, or with like the handlebar mustache.
What's like the beard company, like the growth companies?
Yeah. Oh, like Ryan Day, Just for Men.
Beard Club, whatever that's
take
called.
A page out of the Ryan Day playbook, Just for Men. Yeah.
Or I'm just trying to think, what's like an old man kind of like, oh, you know what? It would have been perfect. You know what would have been perfect?
What?
The Orton Reckenbacher's popcorn sponsorship. That's that like older gentleman, older man vibe.
That, or he can replace Colonel Sanders at KFC.
That would work too. That would be great.
Yeah, but let's wrap up with MLB. We'll make it.
So let's talk about Dodgers
because we didn't expect. We didn't expect to be here.
Yeah, the one thing. Look, I told you this earlier.
Well, first, I just want to take a moment to appreciate winning a series.
Yeah,
I'm so impressed
on that, but yes,
with our boys for staying alive, not giving up, not folding over like past years. It's like refreshing to know that.
And we did talk about, you're like, hey, Dave made the changes that were necessary. Dave took us a step forward and kind of learned from lessons. Yeah, and then Dave took a step back. I don't know what the fuck we did today. This is for game 2. We're recording this after game 2.
Yeah, so game 1 explosion, the least stressful playoff game I can remember in years. Okay, I think 2017 when Kike hit 3 home runs in the same game against the Cubs. That's the last time we've had a stress-free playoff game like this. It's been like 7 years, Everett. Game 2 was very interesting. So I've, after having some time to think about it, having a little bit more time to digest it, here are my official thoughts. So first, we couldn't exactly replicate what we did in game 4, that bullpen game, because Hudson was unavailable today, and also he pitched game 1
inning. Yeah, he pitched.
He's also 40. I don't know. If maybe he wakes up the next morning and legitimately
finish making that point, and
anyway,
I'm about to say something.
Hudson was unavailable, and then also Vesia's out for the playoffs. That was like our only reliable lefty.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Grant, I know we can't. I know we could not replicate the same thing we did in Game 4, but there is no reason on God's green earth Landon Knack should be pitching in the second inning. At a minimum, I know you can't replicate it, but throw somebody else in there for Landon Knack. It does not matter if it's lefty, right. I don't care
even
that
know what other
he should
starters are on
not
the
be in that
roster.
position when you're in a position with a day's rest after this between this game next game, which first of all, Walker Buehler should have pitched this game. Second of all, though, if you're going to pull a bullpen game, don't be putting a fresh starter, brand new, never like Honeycomb. We can talk about that in a minute, but like Landon Knack should not have been the second pitcher off the board. And just for reference, the Dodgers did put some fight back in the game, and I want to commend the hitters for that.
It was weird.
Minus Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, Will Smith.
Well,
fucking horrible.
Well, actually, at 1 through 5 was 0 for 19 today.
And
Teo was ass too. You're not skating by this time, Teo.
Yeah, no, sorry.
But Ohtani, I believe, is 1 and 9 or 0 and 19.
Hey, you know what? I don't give a shit if he's 0. He could be 0 and 27 with no runners on. If he does the one thing that no other Dodgers players
6 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
If he does the one thing that Dodgers players have never been able to do and hit runners in scoring position, I don't give a shit if you can't hit with no runners on. All right. And he still walks and he gets on. But without the Landon Knack runs, which he had 5 runs in the second inning, without that, the Dodgers probably are able. I think they would have won 3-2. I think they would have won 3-2 if it wasn't for that 5 runner. So at that point, obviously you're stuck with Knack. You're not going to pull him mid inning. It makes no sense to do that. But I don't understand, Dave. We talked about changes, like the meme where it says, okay, like upgrade, and then spam, go back. Yes. It's like the keyboard meme.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about, Dave. Hey, you upgrade it. You upgrade again. Why we got to go back? Landon Knack was not the call there. All right, we got to go back.
Yeah, this is a weird one.
That strategy wise makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. If you wanted to pitch Landon Knack should have been pitching the end of last game. He shouldn't have been even available for tonight.
You were
up 9. Yeah, game 1. That's a 9-0. He has never pitched in the playoffs before. That's a guy you want to give reps to without having a concern of it being an issue, right? Like you don't want to have a concern of, you're going to lose the game or whatever. You're not going to, if it's up, you're down 0-1 or whatever, pitching Landon Knack in a make or break moment to start the game is crazy because now the Mets have momentum. And what the Mets have been on buzzsaw this whole time. Like I'd going back into New York with that is not what you want to see because most likely with the time change and everything, they're going to go up 2-1 in the season.
Well, who knows? I got no idea. It's also been so long since we even got to a second round, so like I've kind of forgotten how to manage a 7-game series a bit differently than a 5. But like my thought process is, so what you were saying, we should have started Walker tonight. I think if anything, that was probably the play. If you start Walker tonight, you can start. Shit, actually,
Yam would technically be available. It would be a 5
no. We can't.
Rest.
Well, he had 5. Yeah. Well, he pitched Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He can go. Thursday, Yama can go. What day is it?
Monday. So he'd be pitching the 5th day of rest would be the day he's pitching.
Yama gets game 4.
Yes. I just did that. He's going to.
Yama gets game 4. Flaherty
is going to be for game 5.
Yeah, okay.
Have 2 bullpen.
I understand it now. I understand now why today had to be the bullpen. I understand now. The way the Stars line, they had to do that. They had a bullpen today, but this is where I'll get on your side, where I disagree with it. Yesterday, Jack Flaherty went 7 innings. Okay, we did not expect him to go that deep, but he did. Saved a lot of shit for us. And if anything, him going 7 makes you feel even better about the bullpen game today. But this is where the difference is. What we did in that game 4 after Brazier gave up a bomb to Lindor, but in game 4, Brazier went 1 1/3. So he got through the first 4 hitters. He got up to Machado out. Then they brought in Kopech. Or no.
No,
They
they brought
brought
him Evan
in
Phillips.
Evan Phillips. But regardless, they brought in a killer right away. I thought with the opener game 4, I thought, well, it would make sense. You throw in Knack to face the 5th hitter. You can let him get through these 2, and hopefully he can get through that next inning clean, and he will have a clean inning to go up against the Padres 1 through 4, where it's up to you if you want to let Knack face 1 through 4 or not. It's up to you. But I can understand it back then. But for this one, you have Flaherty going 7. I believe at the end of the game, the guys who pitched were Hudson for an inning, and then I think it was Vanda who pitched the end of game 1. Do you remember?
I'm about to look for you.
But it wasn't
anybody.
Kopech. It wasn't
It
Phillips.
was not anybody like meaningful.
Wasn't Kopech. Wasn't Phillips. Wasn't Trinan.
It was Kasparius.
Oh yeah. No, Kasparius had a good outing. Okay, so but with that, your arms are now completely fresh into this game too, and you have an off day. Now, I will say you got to keep in mind we're about to go into a 3-game series, and if anything, this game 3, Everett, is most critical. Not just for who wins it, but how many arms can we burn in game 3? If we force the Mets to give us their best relievers and we can make them pitch a lot in this game 3, well, that now impacts game 4 and 5 a lot. That it's going to be very key getting to their relievers and making them work for outs. We can't have 2-pitch ABs. We need to work counts and we need to make them throw a lot. Like in a 7-game series, and we're about to have 3 straight in New York, we're going to have to work arms. We're going to have to force the end. I thought game 1, it was so critical knocking Senga out in the 2nd because we forced New York to go to their best arm out of the pen in the 3rd inning, game 1. So we worked their guys game 1. That should have given us such a major advantage today, and we couldn't capitalize.
I will say at a bare minimum, the bullpen's a bit like the bullpen demonstrated in this game, in game 2, that they have the ability to contain the Mets offense. They took a brutally hot Mets offense from the 2nd inning when they hit 5 on Knack and closed them out the entire rest of the game until they put Kike in and out. Which, by the way, that's just giving up and rolling over.
Huh?
It's still they put Kike in to pitch.
No, that's
at the end of the game.
Enriquez.
Oh, sorry. I was just I was reading it as Enrique Hernandez. I guess I'm
at the end. Okay. I was completely fine leaving
Enriquez. Sorry, but yeah, you're rolling over a little bit.
Oh yeah, no. We threw in the towel in the 2nd.
I think one, you can read from it that at least there's still some little bit of a fight in the dog with the back half with Tommy Edman.
I love Edman. I love Tommy Edman so much. He's what I'm talking about when I say competitive.
That's AD. Dog.
Stay that's in there. Do not ground out 2nd pitch.
But shows that they're still biting the dog, fighting the dog, and shows that the bullpen has the capability of shutting down hot hitters on the Mets.
Yeah.
The problem is, why on God's green earth you are pitching Knack in the 2nd inning? I don't understand that. I will never, ever understand that. That is not a matchup winning. You're putting a pitcher.
Wait, like why specifically the 2nd? Who did he even come into face? Let me check. I believe he came in for Marte Winker Iglesias. Is that who he faced?
It would have been so.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm okay bringing him in the 2nd after you get through the scary outs, because I can understand you don't want to let Lindor face Knack.
My whole argument is that if you wanted Knack to pitch,
well, this is the thing. When they say bullpen game, I think we're taking a little too much value in the bull. Like the plan, it was more so an opener. Like the plan was let Brazier go the first, then have Knack have the bulk.
I kind of get that, but
we know that's we're not doing that plan again.
We also, to be fair, though, we also thought that was kind of going to be the plan when we talked about a bullpen game versus the Padres, which wasn't really actually the case.
Well, the thing I was looking at, like, that one was described more as a bullpen game. I know they
No,
technically characterized this one.
I know.
Like Dave
I'm
was saying
if
he wants Knack to have carry the bulk of today.
Cool. If you want Knack to do that, my whole point is Knack is in a position where he has never played in the playoffs, where he's never pitched in the playoffs before. I don't even know if he's pitched against the Mets before. So if you want him to get experience,
well, that's okay. That's okay.
But my point is, if you want to put a pitcher that has no known commodities in the playoffs, if you want him to play, you should have played him at the end of game 1. And then seen how he was going to do it. You can play him later, but see how he goes against those players first, so you can handle it. But as a general thing, either way, even if you're going to play him in game 2, playing him at the very start of the game when there's no feeling, there's no momentum, nothing, that's just bad strategy because you're giving the other team an opportunity to go balls off on this pitcher and giving them whole momentum that you now have to shut down.
I mean, I get what you're saying from that end, but like, I mean. The only, it's not like Dave has been cooking this up for a week. Like,
I know, but that's just
coming in a second.
I feel like you just have to use your brain a little bit. It's a bad idea.
Well, we were forced into it just with the arms. And
there's this is another pitcher that's not Landon Knack.
Starter? I don't know.
Not saying it doesn't have to be a starter.
Well,
you just need a pitcher to go 1 inning.
Well.
He went 2, I know, but still.
We'd have to, it was the second inning. So at 24 outs to go, rest of the game from that point. Hey, we're about to go into this 3-game stretch. No off days. We're going to play 3 games straight here. We're going to need arms. We're going to need arms. And I think Dave he threw in the towel early.
It's just,
and I'm okay with it because this next 3-game series, we have starters lined up. We have our arms rested. It's just
infuriating to me because of the fact
we gave him a game. We gave him a game.
But it's the fact Flaherty went 7 innings. We used pitchers. We used quantity pitchers. We did not use quality level.
No. From all of that,
we should have been able to use in this game that we did not.
From that end, I'm with you. That was a little bit surprising to me, where I was thinking the luxury of Flaherty going 7 in game 1 is that our arms are rested and we can use them right now.
I would have we didn't see Evan Phillips. We didn't see Kopech. Those are 2 pitchers that I know can pitch 1 inning each and will be fine on a day. You give them a day off, they'll be fine. That's what I don't understand. That's why I don't get why you're playing Knack when you could have Phillips and Kopech go back-to-back second.
Yeah, I mean, the hope was he could just get through 3 or 4, and obviously that should hit the fan quickly. And I would say halfway through the second, before we even got an out, Dave's looking around just I'm not gonna now go burn Trinan and Phillips today.
No, but it's just from the get-go, I just don't think Landon Knack should have been the play. That just is...
Yeah, no. Landon Knack...
boneheaded to me.
I don't... Well, we can't, drop him now. That'd be great. Well, no, if we are very smart, Landon Knack will have a mysterious IL appearance tomorrow. Okay, Everett? If Landon Knack is placed on IL tomorrow...
Tricep strain.
Then... that's our only way to get him off the roster. So that I'm saying it out loud, I expect Landon Knack to be put on IL tomorrow.
But this is not just me. It is undeniably dumb when you have a pitcher of 7 deep, you don't burn quality relievers, and then to not use those relievers the next day in order to use a...
Well, my only thought is that, hey, we got through the tough outs with Brazier. I know he gave a bomb, but I think what Dave was thinking was, hey, he's maybe trying to get a little greedy. Maybe trying to save. The
problem with the Mets is that entire lineup is hot hitters. And I know that we shut them down the first game, but that doesn't mean that they're not hot hitters. The reason why they were able to beat up on the Phillies and beat up on the Brewers was because the whole lineup, top to bottom, hits well, minus their catcher, who's just ass. But the whole lineup.
Wait, for who? For the who?
Mets. I'm pretty sure their catcher's
ironically, and he's the star boy rookie guy. He has a 345 OPS.
But besides him, the whole team, top to bottom, hits well. So that's the one thing I don't understand. Like you have to approach all those hitters like they're gonna hit well.
Fair.
And
Hey, fair.
if you give any of them, you give 1 of 9 of them any kind of momentum, all 9 of them have momentum, minus their catcher. So 8.
This is a fun fact where I don't think you knew this, but Ronald Acuna's little brother, Luis Angel Acuna,
yes.
is on the Mets,
Yes.
and he like came in at second for a little bit, and it's like his batting stance is way too similar to his older brothers. I'm just like, oh my god,
He's a rookie.
We can't. He looks like a boy. He looks like he's 18 years old. Like he looks like a little kid out there.
Look, I want to see the glasses half full. We know that the quality starters in the bullpen.
Hey, we didn't even expect to be here, so I'm happy to be here right now. I'm happy that it's 1-1, not
that the bottom of the lineup can hit well. Top of the lineup on the other side of the glass needs to step it the fuck up, and Dave needs to step it the fuck up. I don't know what cutesy bullshit he was pulling, but let's put that back in the bag and throw it in a safe and sink it to the bottom of the ocean. I don't want to see that shit again, Dave. All right. That's where you get your name gets, your head gets started to call for. So
so game 3, it
pack that up. Let's pack that up, put it away in a dark cabinet, close the door, lock it up, burn the house down, and let's just move back to what we were doing versus the Padres last 2 games. All right.
So for game 3, Walker versus Severino. Sevy's been giving up some runs that this postseason, not gonna lie. This is a game where, this is big. This game 3 is very big. Even if you don't win this game 3, knocking Severino out early, whichever team. Okay, let's say this: the winner of game 5, Everett, will be the team whose starting pitcher got deeper into game 3. Okay, gonna say that now. Whoever wins game 5 is going to be based on game 3. How deep? I
can believe that, and that's also going to be I would expect Yamamoto to win game 4. My expectation,
and I'm just remembering that start in Yankee Stadium before he got hurt, where I'm expecting it out of him.
You don't need to go back that far. You just need to go back 1 week.
Yeah, game 5 or 4. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
1 week.
And I believe World Baseball Classic, very last game, which Ohtani closed out. Pretty sure Yama started that, and I think he went like 6 innings, 1 run against Team USA.
Yeah, no, let's shut the door on Landon Knack, and let's maybe open the door a little bit on Brent Honeywell. But
hey, a surprising addition. That's a lefty that we could use.
He's a right-handed. Oh no, he's a relief pitcher. No, he's a righty.
Honeywell?
Bats right. Bats right. Throws right.
Huh? Who? Oh, it's Banda. Is a lot? Is pitcher Kike? Is he a righty or a lefty?
Pitcher Kike, yeah. No, he's righty.
Edgardo Enriquez.
I swear to God, I just wasn't paying attention to it. And I saw the first of it, I saw 9. I wasn't really watching the game at a certain point. I saw Hen, and then I also saw a tweet being like, Dave threw in the towel. And I was like, oh, so we just pitched Kike. Nice. Okay.
I think there's actually rules this year where for a position player to pitch, there has to be a 10-run differential.
Yeah, it has to be a big blowout.
But
but I will also say the Dodgers were in plenty of positions to come back in this game. It doesn't help that your first 5 hitters are just dead weight.
I mean,
so
we know that 1 through 5 is gonna have to hit for us to win.
I do not love the fact we just spent 10 years on Will Smith with the way he's playing, but
we'll have to look into that one a little bit more as the next couple of seasons progress. But it's only 14 a year. Yeah, only 14 a year. Could be worse. Yeah, at least we're not the D-backs who gave Corbin Carroll like 140 over 10, and he just put up a season similar to Will Smith, and he's only like 22 Everett.
Yeah, but with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TW, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me again on Twitter at EversTakes and at WaterboyGrant. We post episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive. Don't you dare fucking say something, I swear to God. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok, so make sure you follow us there so you don't miss a single anything. With that, we'll see you guys next episode. Now, say what you wanted to say.
And I would like to congratulate Aaron Rodgers for getting through a Monday night football game against the Bills in MetLife. Shout out, Aaron.